After spending a romantic night together, Simon and Valeria are in a car accident, and she is captured by those who would transfer her heart into the girlfriend of a powerful man. Today on Cinema Recapped, I'll show you The Marked Heart from Netflix. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Chapter 1. Happiness is not round. The series begins with a happy couple in a car called Simon and Valeria. They are very much in love, but they experience a car accident, and some men arrive to save the woman. However, she soon realizes that she's been captured to become a heart donor. Weeks before, we see other lovers called Camila and Zacarías, who are at their wedding, but the bride has a heart attack and the doctor tells her that she needs a heart transplant as soon as possible, although she's been on the waiting list for 3 years. The husband tells her not to worry because he'll take care of it. In the present, we see that those who capture the girl are people who work for Zacarías and want her to donate her heart to Camila. Simon wakes up after the accident and he realizes that his wife is not there. He steals a car and tracks her with his cell phone. Meanwhile, Valeria and her captors are detained by some soldiers. She tries to escape while the men are dealing with the authorities. However, they kill the soldiers and go after her. At almost the same time, the husband and the police track her down, but the evil ones find her first and take her away. The police catch up with Simon and think that he's the one who has killed the soldiers. They arrest him without listening to him, while Valeria is taken into the operating room. Chapter 2. A guest inside my body. The doctors extract Valeria's heart, while the police realize what's happened. Although they lost track of the villains, they send Simon home, where the family is devastated. The evil men deliver Valeria's heart to Zacarías, and the transplant begins. Shortly after, we see that the transplant was a success, while Simon is desperate since the police have not found his wife. Days later, we see that Valeria's children miss her a lot, while her husband has hallucinations of her. In the morning, Simon receives a call from a stranger who gives him the possible whereabouts of his wife. He goes to the police, and they find her in a lake. Later, the inspector tells him that maybe they gave the heart to someone else to live. Meanwhile, Camila asks a friend to investigate whose heart she carries inside her chest, while Zacarías continues with his work guiding the candidate Cardenas through elections. Chapter 3. The Search. Camila and Simon meet by coincidence in a concert where he helps her take a picture. Then an accident takes place and everyone has to leave. Simon escorts Camila safely out of the place. Zacarías arrives and they both thank Simon. Later, Simon discovers a document that says his wife had some tests done. He goes to the clinic and they give him the complete results. He realizes that she was pregnant, so he has one more reason to take revenge, since the police have not solved anything. That night, Camila's friend tries to find out who the donor was. Zacarías talks to her and tells her that Valeria doesn't need to know who she was, since she could get sick from thinking about it. The friend decides to not continue with the investigation. Meanwhile, Simon disguises himself and searches the underworld. He beats the villains who kidnapped his wife, but none of them confess anything, and they beat him up a little so that he doesn't hang around in their area. Chapter 4. That heart should never have been yours. Simon sees a photo of Valeria, which Camila took earlier. He lets the girl know that she was his wife. Because of this, Camila sends the photo to his house. The next day, Simon thanks Camila for the gift and wants to pay for it, but she tells him no. They agree that he'll pay her by teaching her how to make pizza. Later, during the training, Camila asks him about his wife, but he tells her that he prefers not to talk about her. The next day, Camila goes to a shaman, while Simon finds a clue about a girl who might know something. The shaman tells Camila that the heart she carries inside should never have been hers. She has hallucinations and escapes from there, going to a lake. Chapter 5. The Organization. Camila's friend pulls her out of the water and takes her to the hospital since she's very upset with what the shaman told her. Meanwhile, Simon manages to approach the suspect he found, a girl named Carla, who does not want to tell him anything. At the same time, Zacarías runs into the leader of the gang he hired to find his wife's heart, called Sarmiento, who has forced him to work with him, since Cardenas must be the president and they must be united. The next day, Carla decides to help Simon. She takes him to where everything with his wife happened. She explains everything she saw and that she only knows where one of the doctors who did the transplant works. Simon goes there, but only gets the number to schedule an appointment. Later, Simon and Camila finish their pizza session, but they get caught up in the rain and end up having sex, since the girl has feelings that have come from her new heart. Chapter 6. No loose ends. Camila and Simon regret what they did and the girl leaves without saying a word. At night, Zacarías tries to approach his wife, but she rejects him, since she remembers what she did with Simon. Later, Simon finds the doctor, although he runs away. The police get involved, but the villains find the doctor first and get rid of him in a plane in mid-flight. Camila goes to Simon's house for a camera that she forgot. She meets Simon's children. She gets some kind of memories that her heart sends her from that special place. Simon returns her camera and tells her just what exactly happened to his wife, to which Camila is speechless. Chapter 7. A pivotal moment. Camila and Simon continue talking, although she does not say anything about having received a heart transplant. They also talk about feeling a strange sensation since they're falling in love, but both know it isn't right. The police arrest Carla. They tell her what happened to the doctor, so she mentions another name of another doctor who was also there. Zacarías makes Camila's mother a partner of Cardenas to make him look good in front of the press. Camila realizes that the date of Valeria's disappearance is the same day that she received the transplant. She suspects that she has the girl's heart. Later, she sneaks into her doctor's computer and confirms her suspicions. Chapter 8. Is my husband guilty? The villains have linked Carla to the doctors. They follow her and finish her off. At the same time, Camila goes to Simon, who tells her that they are meant for each other, but she stops him and tells him that they should never see each other ever again. The police try to uncover the truth while Simon finds out what has happened to Carla. He sends the children to live at one of his friends' houses since they'll be safer there. At the same time, Camila confesses to Zacarías that she already knows about how he got the heart for her transplant. Chapter 9. We are here to change your life. Zacarías convinces Camila that he doesn't know anything, although they can't talk to the police either since they would be the main suspects. He tells her that he'll take care of everything. We see that Simon's daughter Samantha begins to have a relationship with a boy named Tomas, who has business dealings with toxic substances provided by the villains who captured Valeria. Then the men ask Tomas for some money he owes them. They capture Samantha until he pays them everything, while Simon and Camila meet again. But they only kiss, and the girl runs away. Chapter 10. The Terrible Truth. Tomas is getting the money together while the villains are desperate, so one of them starts to kiss Samantha, but Tomas' roommate defends her with a gun. He kills one of them, and the girl takes another gun and kills another. Because of this, the last villain gets distracted and they end him too. At that moment, Tomas arrives, although everything is already solved. The boy and his roommate run away while Samantha returns home without saying anything to her father. Cardenas and Camila's mother get married. Sarmiento pressures Zacarías to make a deal, which involves the future president, while Camila hires a hacker to get information from her husband's cell phone. She finds out that her husband is responsible for everything. Chapter 11. The Insider. Camila confronts Zacarías, and he confesses, but tells her that he did it because he loves her. Meanwhile, Simon pretends to be someone else to get closer to the villains. The villains and Simon go along with a man who knows Tomas, so he tells them that that night he will play at his bar. Later, Simon is told that his children need him. He reflects and decides to stop his revenge and return home. Camila goes to look for Simon at his home, where she sees that he's devastated and that he calls those who killed his wife monsters. One thing leads to another and they end up having sex again. However, when she's taking a shower, Simon comes in and sees the scar on her chest, asking her if she got a heart transplant. Chapter 12. The Scar. The girl can't stand the pressure, and without answering at all, she loses consciousness. Simon takes her to the hospital. Zacarías finds out that Cardenas fired him since he yelled at him once before, although Zacarías doesn't really care since he's only interested in recovering Camila's love. The villains capture Tomas, but he doesn't want to confess who killed the other villains. Simon tells everything to the police, but they tell him that he doesn't have enough evidence. Later, Cardenas is convinced that he needs Zacarías, while Camila is handcuffed at the hospital. Her husband arrives and the police tell him that they're under suspicion. Simon also arrives and accuses the couple of having his wife's heart. Chapter 13. The next victim. Zacarías is an expert with his words, and he makes use of his verbal skills to get rid of the police since they have no proof. Meanwhile, the villains get Samantha's number and ask her to go with them or else they will kill Tomas. At the same moment, another of the villains says that they urgently need an organ, and they think that Simon's daughter would be the right candidate. The police go to the location of the other doctor, but he hides very well. At the same time, Simon asks Camila for explanations. She tells him that she did not know anything at the time, so she tells him everything she found out since, although he's still very upset. Samantha goes to the place they told her to, waits for an opportunity, and unties Tomas. They try to leave on a motorcycle, but one of the men discovers them and captures them. Zacarías meets with Sarmiento, but they don't know that Simon records them in disguise, while they say that they want to stop everything that's happening at all costs. Shortly after, they tell Simon that his work is done, but before he leaves, he notices that they brought a girl, and he realizes that it's actually his daughter, and that they want to steal organs from her as well. Chapter 14. The Confession. Since the villains don't need Tomas anymore, one of them takes him away to finish him off, but Simon arrives and saves him. To try to save Samantha, the two follow the villains. Meanwhile, Camila is with the authorities confessing everything about Zacarías. Simon and Tomas enter the villain's base, and the father stops the surgery. The police also arrive and they attack each other from both sides. They capture two of the villains, but shortly after we see that the inspector was working with the bad guys, since he kills one of his companions in order to free the other villains. Later, Camila goes to Simon's house and tells them her whole story. The children hate her and leave, but Simon understands her and they hug, although she can't bear the guilt, and also leaves. In the middle of everything that's going on, Cardenas ends up winning the elections. Zacarías and his people celebrate. At the same time, they arrest the inspector since the policeman he supposedly killed managed to live and told the truth. Cardenas rejects Sarmiento's help, so he threatens him and leaves. The next day, Zacarías is told that they finished off Camila, so he screams, blaming Sarmiento. However, we see that Camila faked her death and changed her identity to Juana Marquez. Simon and his children have forgiven her and helped her to escape with her new name. Meanwhile, Zacarías uses his influence to get Sarmiento arrested, believing him guilty. Days later, Sarmiento's contacts locate Camila, and they send the evidence to her husband. End of Season 1. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue receiving the recaps of the best mystery series on Netflix. Thanks for watching.